Hello, y'all. Welcome back to Bamm Raw TV. Listen, I want to say again, go get some of that BXBZ gear. This is what our new design. Go get some of that BXBZ gear. BXBZLLC.org website. Or look at my Facebook for some. Hey, listen, I appreciate all the support I've been getting from everybody. And the BXBZ gear, as we tell everybody, is for anyone, anywhere, anyone in Shreveport, Bossier, that text everywhere. I've been getting orders from everybody, and they love it. They love what it stands for, and they love the movement. So be a part of the movement. Don't jump in on it when it's big, because I think God gonna bless it, and I know God gonna bless it. So don't jump in there. I've been doing some things for people thanks to the support that we get. Me and some of the men who support BXBZ Gear. We went and we cut the yard for a 77-year-old lady who, unfortunately, she said she had paid several people $300 to come cut the yard around, cut the grass around her house, and now I was made aware of it that she couldn't get out of the house. She had a house full of cats, couldn't get out of the house, and I was made aware of it. So we went and looked at it, and I took some pictures. I'll probably put them on Facebook. But I didn't do it for that purpose. But I'm just mentioning this is what this gear enabled me to do. I got some men together. We went out there and we cut a yard for free. Now she able to move around. I don't want to see nobody in prison in anything. Definitely not in prison in your own house. Okay, so thank you for supporting it and buying this gear. Everybody from everywhere: Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, Texas. I mean, it's just so many different places I've been getting orders from, man. Mississippi, everywhere. So let's get on with what I'm going to talk about today on Bamm Raw TV. I want to talk about our young men the young men and our young ladies in this generation. They're so smart, they're so sharp, and they're not selling for anything. They can tell you that they'll tell you, they said they're not selling for anything. They're going to have the best hairdo. They're going to have one of the best cars. They're going to have one of the best sound system. They're going to have the best shoes. I mean, these people or can be working at Wendy's and they're gonna still find a way to have the best of everything, because they continue to say that they're not selling for nothing. They're not selling for nothing but the best. Now, when you say that and you make that statement, there's so much go to that. That means you want to try to make sure you continue to do that. That's a statement that they've been doing out here. So when you look into that and going on, here's the situation. That can change. That can be out of your hands. That can change when you get yourself incarcerated and you get locked up. That goes out the window. The things that you said you wouldn't settle for, you're gonna settle for them. You're gonna settle for eating soups and you're gonna lack it. You're gonna settle for buying a pair of $60 shoes that you wouldn't have never wore in your life. You're gonna settle for wearing them and lacking them. You're gonna settle for eating certain types of food and certain types of things, and you're gonna lack it. You're gonna settle for a lesser version of everything that you done settle for out here. The federal penitentiary and the state penitentiary also, they got everything the same thing out here. They got cigarettes. You're just gonna get it in a lower little dose. You're gonna pay $10 a book of stamp for some crumbs, and you're gonna lack it and be happy with it. Same thing with weed. You smoking big old blunts out here. When you get in there, somebody gonna give you a line of dust of weed that you barely can see, and that's gonna be for $10. That's gonna be for a book. You see what I'm saying? You got wine. People making wine. You're gonna get in there. You're gonna drink your wine. Something that you're drinking Kvasse or what that is, or all these top of the line liquors right now. Where you're gonna drink hooch in there, and you're gonna get drunk off of it, and you're gonna like it. It may tear your stomach up, but you're gonna drink it. You're gonna drink White Lightning. You're gonna get the lower variable thing. You're gonna either look at you some books, or you're gonna either have you some interaction. You catch your interaction with a officer. You may have some officers that you do have some officers that they slip up in entertainment and going on. You got men who have transsexual partners in there that they deal with. You got everything in there. You got drugs, wine, dope. Cigarettes. It's a low gambling. You got gambling. Money is your stamps. You got all these different things you got in here, but at a lower level. You selling for things that you say you wouldn't sell it for, because you lost control when you allowed yourself to go to jail. When you allowed yourself to go to jail, you took that control out of your hand. You basically gave away your control. And the fact is, a lot of us A lot of my young men, and myself included, I'm a victim of this here. We feel like we have to get back to get even at a person or get even by the situation. But when you get back and look at it, 99.9% of the time, when you get back for something or to at someone, you do more damage to yourself than the person did to you. You know what I'm saying? The person's done slighted me a few words, and I done did action that sent me to jail the rest of my life, or I done did action that sent me to jail for 10 years, 5 years, or whatever. When this dude only said a few words to me and I allowed him to cause me to do him something, to send myself to jail for 10 years. So who did the most damage to me? I did the most damage to myself. So we want to rethink this get back thing on everything. Everything ain't tit for tat. And most men's, I know out here now, these dudes ain't got nothing to prove. They ain't got nothing to prove. These little dudes, they smart, they sharp, they pretty much got most of what they want. They don't got nothing to prove. See what I'm saying? So I understand that ideology of feeling that you got to get back. And thank God that I lived old enough I suffered, did a lot of time in jail and going on, but I lived be old enough to regret the times that I got back and realized that I did more damage to myself. And that's the good thing. The bad, you know what I'm saying? The bad thing is that I had a lot of homeboys didn't live. They get back, cost them their life. Getting back cost them their life. They gave up their life to get back. And somebody owes something that more likely it wasn't at that level. Or it could have been dealt with or resolved a different way. So we need to be careful about this get back and realize and analyze the situation, realize through getting back gonna cost me more than the situation is worth. You know what I'm saying? We gotta start thinking and put some thoughts into our lives because your life is worth it. Your life is worth sitting down and thinking about the consequences. You understand? That thing is a one-time deal. It's a one-time deal. You know, I trust me, I know I've been pronounced dead twice, but I wasn't dead. So I mean, and everything that and it's just to speak, I'm not nobody in y'all world. Y'all not did everything that I have done. Y'all have outdid. Just like somebody gonna outdo everything you done. A reputation is fleeting. It may be a few people that still remember you. But a reputation is fleeting, and it ain't worth 50 years, it ain't worth 35, it ain't worth dying for. So when I ask you, because I love you, man, I don't want nobody to sit here, don't sit here, and I ask you, God, only God delivered me and got me this for. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and I would advise everybody to have God in their life. I said, but that's your decision to make. But I don't expect, no one should expect you to go from being a street man to being a man who live a certain way, and then all of a sudden today, and then tomorrow you're a saint. It don't happen like that. There's a transition. Every transition with Paul, transition with Moses. There's a transition. 40 years in the wilderness. Paul had to go through the thing to get his sight back and be taught on how. So it's not that. Don't let nobody tell you that they expect you to be perfect tomorrow, or they expect you to be a saint tomorrow, because they're telling you something that they can't do themselves. They're telling you something that they cannot do. They're trying to get you to swallow camel when they can't swallow net. So don't just be a little decent each day. Take it as a process. Be a little decent each day. Start putting a little thought before you do something negative each day. Like, how can I lessen this? How can I not do this here? How can I resolve this? Put a little thought, because your life is worth this, man. Your life is worth it. Men and ladies, you know what I'm saying? Your life is worth this here, man. And right now, you're able to go buy and get everything that you want. When you go to jail, you lose that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Especially most of our families out here, they working, or they got lives of their own, so they can't support us in there. So all the things that we had, we're gonna lose now. But I also want to talk about why I feel that I can talk about the state. When I tell you about my past, I'm gonna talk about the state and I'm gonna talk about the Fed. How both of those are sub-levels of the state, and one is sub-level of the world. The state system is everything in the state. Everything that's in the state is in that system in a lower level. You're gonna have a little crumbs or a cigarette. You're gonna pay $10 for it. You're gonna have little crumbs or weed that you pay $10. You're gonna have a smaller version of everything, but it's gonna exist. It's gonna exist in there, and you're gonna like it. And the reason I know about my bid in my criminal history, unfortunately, and my suffering didn't just start when I went to the Fed. I have a history before then. Not nothing that I'm proud of, but it's an example of how my need to get back, caused me to suffer so much, and it set a pattern that I never did break until now. Thank God. Now my thing started out with me when I went to reform school. At 15 years old, I got juvenile life. I was in the LTI Monroe, where I did 2 years. All right, when I come from there, my record is so extensive. I'm just going to hit key things. I got out from there. Shortly after that, I had an armed robbery, second degree murder, in which I did a little time for that. Then I turned around and I had the next notable thing would be I had a aggravated arson, attempt second degree murder, in which I burned up, got angry with a club owner, burned up the club, then shot an individual, and so I ended up doing 3 years at Hunts Population for that. I ended up about a few years later, I ended up catching 2 attempt murders and aggravated property damage, which and I ended up with 2 years for that. And in that situation happened where I had a couple of words with some individual, and I drove my car into the store, jumped out of my car and drove it up into the store and got in a shootout with the individual. I shot 2 individuals and I got shot 7 times. And I did 2 years in a Vols Correctional Center, Cotton Port, Louisiana for that. And I got out, and other charges that I beat, but they all cost me one way or the other. They cost me the money, whether I caught it, but it always was cost of something that I felt like I need to get back in. If a person slight me, say something disrespectful to me, or slight me, right now, humble myself. Because it's not my fight. It's not my fight no more. I know who I am. I'm confident in who I am. So but back then, if they slight me, because I felt like they had harmed me by slighting me or saying something, or even doing something minor, not paying me $10, I felt like they had took from me. So what I did, I went and shot them or did whatever it is, and ended up doing 4 years, 2 years, some time for it, or else end up paying the lawyers and the bond and everything. So that little amount going on cost me so much. I had a reputation. I had the reputation, just like y'all got the reputation. I could have stopped when I was ahead. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you are now, somebody gonna supersede that. Everything that you are right now, so it's not worth it again. But as I go on to say, when I hit it in the federal system, is a subdivision of the world. It's a subdivision of the world. Everything that's in there is from people. The only difference between the state and the Fed is you're gonna stay within your state. If you're in Louisiana, you're gonna stay within Louisiana. You're gonna only have contact with Louisiana people. Going on. But when you in the Feds, you can be shipped to any other state it is. You can be shipped over to Hawaii. You can be shipped over to Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be around so many people from all over the world and going on, and that increases your chance of not only knowledge of learning from different ways, but bumping into different ways and going on. And I say from my thing down there, I'm gonna tell the stories with respect to keeping certain things concealed and keeping people identities concealed. But I out of my 28 years down, I done seen it all. I done been around it all. I done seen everything there and going on. And I have, like I say, it's everything goes on in there, just on the lower level. People who out here right now who will not settle for nothing or being made to settle. And nobody should want to be put in that situation where you're selling for and lacking it. You got millionaires that they are selling for soups. You got a guy with 20 soups, 50-cent soups in his locker, and he walking around feeling good about it when he had the whole world out there and he generally gave up his freedom over something that wasn't worth it. So we want to be careful about that. But I want to tell the stories, and like I say, I'm talking real to y'all right now. I try to talk raw to y'all and keep it up. My stuff is not practice. I'm gonna get y'all a better format, and we already started through the process, but I'm gonna get you a better format, and I'm able to be able to put my stuff down and draw it up. I'm not gonna take nothing away from it as far as the realness of it, but I'm gonna draw it up so that I can give it to y'all in a more efficient manner. And therefore, because right now, most of my stuff be off the cuff, it be from recollection. And when I do things from recollection, I do have certain pauses because I want to make sure I don't say nothing that could affect any other individual who still may be dealing with some things or still may be in those situations. So I want y'all to sit here instead of continue to support BXBZ. And everybody always asks me who the BXBZ Guild for. It's for everybody, man. Remember that it's for everybody. This thing is gonna blow up. I thank God that y'all have been supporting me the way y'all have. But this thing is gonna blow up because I'm not gonna give up on it. I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna push the envelope, and I want y'all to get some of this new gear. One day y'all gonna sit there and want me to autograph it. I like that if that happens, but we're gonna get this together. And I thank y'all so much for y'all support. But I want y'all to understand these stories that finna start coming out. We are designing to put visual with it. It's going to be visual so that for y'all who cannot conceive an incident that's going on, or y'all cannot conceive a battle or something that's going on, I'm going to give y'all a likeness to this. Here where y'all can see. And I also forgot to mention, my apologies, that I did also catch charge when I was in the cell in West Max back in CDC with the City Grove Killer, Nathaniel Robert Cole, known as the City Grove Killer for I think about 7 or 8 murders. He's on death row now going on. He was my cellie for like a year and something. And it's documented in the papers, as is all my stuff documented, that we end up starting a riot, and we were charged with one inciting a riot and 5 batteries on officers. And they said in the newspaper, they said Bamm out the bottom, the City Grove Killer had started incited a riot that had caused 5 officers to be hurt and 4 inmates to be hurt. And I ended up getting 6 months on each one there, ran concurrent with my 3 years when I was sent down to Hunt's population. So I mean, and it always felt like I had to get back, man. So I want y'all to look at that and look at my record and understand that, hey, I had the same attitude problem y'all had, man, and God allowed me to live past it. But too many of our young dudes right now ain't living past it. It's costing them too much. So just think about that, man. Like I said, I'm gonna love you no matter what, man. I don't have no choice in the matter no more, man. I love all y'all, man. I done did too much. Not to be a forgiving person. You know what I'm saying? I've been forgiven so much. I asked everybody to forgive me, and I forgave everybody. I started to slay clean. I humble myself now before these situations, and I pray for my people to do better. I pray for y'all to do better, man. I love y'all, and I ain't gonna give up on y'all.